I'll be going to Kyoto more often, so I'm trying to learn their communication style. You might think, but you're Japanese, you speak the language. It's not a matter of language. Tokyo has been the capital for 150 years, but Kyoto had been the capital for a millennium. In their eyes, we're all pumpkins. City people communicate differently, and here's one case study. So you're in a restaurant in Kyoto, enjoying conversation with your friends, the staff's really nice, they serve you tea without being asked to, and you're talking, and at one point, a staffer comes to you and asks, "Ocha wa ikaga desu ka?" And you might reply, yes, thank you. There you go, you have been socially murdered. The message they're trying to convey is, I want you to notice that this is the third cup of free tea. Maybe you have overstayed. You accept the offer and they'll be like, oh, they're gonna stay? Somebody's clearly not from around here. So the correct reply is this. いやいや、大丈夫です。そろそろ行かないといけないので。はいはい。ごちそうさまです。はいはいはい。ありがとうございます。はいはい。So when they suddenly ask you a question, watch out. We're gonna learn this together, okay? The word genki, it means energetic, full of life. It's something you will hear your friends say when they see you after a long time. Like this. お、久しぶり。元気? And then you reply, はい、元気にやってます. You know, it's a harmless nicety you observe every day. But watch out when Kyoto people say it in front of your kids or dogs. So you're at a park, you're watching your kids or dogs yipping and yapping, and this, to you, is the cutest thing ever. And then this middle-aged man comes to sit beside you on the lawn, and he's like, yeah, 元気だね. And then you're like, yeah, to me, they have the voice of an angel. There we go, socially murdered. What this man from Kyoto is trying to say is, well, look what you brought us here today. Noisy creatures times two. You might want to do something about them right now. Okay, so let's just keep in mind our kids and our dogs are angels only in certain geographical areas, namely everywhere outside Kyoto. When you receive some kind of service, sometimes the staff there is very demotivated and they take a lot of time to process things, and it frustrates you. Now let's learn how to elegantly deal with these kind of situations from our senpai, Kyoto people. Before Tokyo, Kyoto had been the capital city for over 1,000 years. That means Kyoto people lived in proximity with people in power, but sometimes they got frustrated and they felt the need to throw some shade at people. How do they do it without getting in trouble? So their go-to technique is, instead of attacking them directly, they make the other person's mind do the beating on themselves. So imagine you went to a local municipality that's notorious for being slow and rude. Why doesn't this work? Stupid computer. Hold on. So now you're going to ask this question with a genuinely worried face, okay? Like this. このお仕事長いんですか? Then they're going to be like, I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm still struggling with basic procedures. So the more worried you sound, the more damage you deal. My third book, Horror Tales of Japan, is out on Amazon right now. Please check it out and enjoy some chills down your spine. Kyoto has had an attitude throughout history. When the capital city moved from Kyoto to Tokyo like 150 years ago, all the prefectures we have now were made, like Osaka, Aichi, Kanagawa, Saitama. But before that, Japan was divided into smaller provinces and they were named very differently. For example, in central North Japan, in the order of closeness to Kyoto, there were provinces called Echizen, Echu, Echigo. And in western Japan, in the order of closeness to Kyoto, there were provinces called Bizen, Bichu, Bingo. Now this kanji zen means front, chu means middle, and go means back. So these provinces were named from the point of view of self-centered Kyoto. So Kyoto was like, you're ecchi near, you're ecchi little near, and you're ecchi far. You're B near, B little near, and you're B far. That's what you are. But one day, Kyoto was not the capital anymore, and these province names didn't make any sense. They were replaced with prefectures and prefecture names. So what I like to say to Kyoto is, good thing you're still beautiful. Japanese kids are taught to keep their mouths shut until the other person is done talking. That's why if you keep talking non-stop for an hour, we will endure the whole hour without uttering anything meaningful. We'll just consider the hour a takigyo and persevere through it until you exhaust all your stories. Now, Kyoto people basically follow the same code of conduct, but they're a special kind of Japanese people because they have a unique way of hinting that you have talked too much. So you're going on and on about statistics for a sport the Kyoto person doesn't even know the rules of. And suddenly, the Kyoto person says, "Yeah, Steve-san, してはりますな." And you're like, oh, thank you. I got this at Disneyland when I went there with a crazy story. But what the Kyoto person is trying to convey is, yes, with your gorgeous Mickey Mouse watch, I'd like you to notice how much time you have expended babbling about things I do not even care. Enjoy Kyoto. There is a terrifying temple called Bishamondo in Kyoto. It has a special guest room called the Room of Toriyawazu. It's a room with screen doors covered entirely with nice paintings of nature and birds. Now in Japanese paintings, you often see a bush warbler drawn with plum blossoms, and sparrows drawn with bamboo. But on the sliding doors of this room, a pheasant is drawn with plum blossoms, and bulbuls are drawn with bamboo. So if you were a cultured guest, you would feel something awkward about the paintings. You would think, the birds don't really match. Now the Japanese for bird is tori, and don't match is awanai. Tori awanai is a homophone with tori awanai, which means I'm not gonna entertain you. So being shown to this room to wait is a Kyoto way of telling you, you are not a worthy customer. AKA, get your hiney out of here. I am scared of opening my eyes in Kyoto. One of the most hilarious books I've read in my life is this. It was written by Professor Inoue Shoichi, who is the director of the International Research Center for Japanese Studies, which is located in Kyoto. And his book is entitled Kyoto Girai. I hate Kyoto! When it was first published, there were reviews from people, especially in Osaka, who basically went, the book starts with this confession about being bullied by central Kyoto people for being born in Kyoto Prefecture, but not in Kyoto City. An example he gave was when he was in grad school, he visited a centuries-old architecture in central Kyoto to do some research. A resident there heard his Kyoto dialect and asked where he was from. Young Shoichi answered that he was from Saga, west of central Kyoto. Then the resident was like, ah, Saga. How nostalgic. When I was little, a farmer from Saga came to our house to collect our duty poop every week. Household excrements used to be given out to nearby farms as fertilizers until the mid-20th century. So it was as if this guy needed to make sure that this boy, a bumpkin in his eyes, understood that he may speak like Kyoto residents, and he was from a place that's geographically considered a part of Kyoto Prefecture. That's not real Kyoto. I love this book. Kyoto used to be the capital and cultural center of Japan for over a millennium, so they may have the right to be a snob. But Professor Inoue Shoichi, the author of my ultimate favorite book, Kyoto Girai, I Hate Kyoto, is not gonna let any Kyoto snobbery slide. In his book, he shares a shocking dialogue he had with a woman from central Kyoto. To give you some context, the mountain range where the famous Kiyomizu-dera temple is located is called Higashiyama. And it literally means East Mountain, because it's located in the east looking from central Kyoto. And here's the dialogue. You know, I've been having blind dates lately, and my parents set me up with a guy from Yamashina. Yamashina. Can you believe that? Why, what's wrong with a guy from Yamashina? If I lived in Yamashina, Higashiyama would be in the west. What starts with a B and ends with an H? Some people in Kyoto seem to be above their own language. In Japanese, whenever you move towards the capital, we say noboru or go up. And whenever you move away from the capital, we say kudaru or go down. So the JR Shinkansen ride that runs from Kyoto to Tokyo is called the nobori, and the reverse direction is called the kudari. But no, not to some Kyoto people. As you might know, Kyoto was the previous capital for over 1,000 years, and Tokyo has only been the capital for like 150 years. So whenever they have a business trip to Tokyo, they say, I'm going down to Tokyo this weekend. JR doesn't know what they're saying. The real capital is... So don't feel too bad if you're having trouble letting go of your past. A city has been struggling to do that for over 150 years. And remember, you go up to Tokyo. After all that, I'd like to point out that I respect Kyoto with all my heart. I do, because it's like your relationship with your boss. Like, you respect him or her, but that doesn't mean he never gets on your nerves. But we all understand Kyoto gets to be very Kyoto, because it's a big reason why Japan is Japan still now. Especially the people and businesses in Kyoto that have been running for over multiple centuries, they keep a long lineage of traditions going. I mean, today's New Year's Eve, and Japanese people are supposed to do a major cleanup of their houses before New Year comes, but I pretended that I forgot about it. Culture is fragile. So Kyoto keeps Japan going. So they have all the right to be proud of themselves. Meanwhile, we have all the right to be annoyed by them when they're snobs. It's emotions. We can't help it. So this love-hate relationship between Kyoto and everyone else in Japan shall keep going for another millennium. Enjoy Kyoto!